No!
Hello and welcome to BullCast Podcast. I'm Katie Pickler, Senorita, and I've got Senor Cortland and Senor Cameron.
Hola, welcome to Toro Loco. What is cast in Spanish?
I don't know. It's probably cast.
Toro Casto.
It's Cinco de Mayo.
It is Cinco de Mayo.
This is a bigger day. Yeah, Cinco de Mayo is great, but there's something bigger today.
Oh, let's see.
It's not our birthday. It's not our second birthday.
Is it our 100th episode?
This is the big 100.
Indeed.
Y'all, we made it. That's crazy.
Through all the blood, sweat, and tears, we are here.
Lots of tears. Lots of anger. But we made it.
Wow. This show was forged in anger.
Hey, some of the best things are, right?
Yeah.
We're going to do a whole lot of memory laning today, but I was thinking back to those early days, and I was trying to figure out why it's so much harder now than it was in the early days. And back in the early days, when we started this, it's been almost 2 years since we started this. And when we started this, it was summertime. And it was right in the middle of COVID, so we weren't having any meetings. There wasn't really a whole lot going on in the office, really. So, I mean, sure, we were stressed about markets and all kinds of the economy going into the tank, and all of these sorts of things were going on around us. But just in terms of our average day, we had more time, I think.
The world was our oyster.
Yeah, back to that first episode of What is BullCast? And we told you all about what we were going to tell you in all these episodes and how we were going to throw in some pop culture. And back when we sang a lot.
Yeah, the first few episodes it was basically a musical.
Really was. And yeah, I don't sing in public, but I sung to all of you.
Well, I mean, an interesting thing. Somebody pointed out to me recently when we were out of town. I can't remember who it was. Somebody said, Cort, I've never heard you sing this much. And I was like, I used to sing all the time. I don't know what's wrong with me, but I don't sing anymore.
Well, that brings up a good point. You don't sing in public, but y'all sing in here. This studio is like our little safe haven.
It really is. It's kind of, it's almost like the war room because, we've evolved. The three of us have evolved for sure in our roles professionally, but obviously our knowledge about a lot of this because of every time we bring an episode to you, we're gaining knowledge ourselves. But then it's also, this is the rare moments that we can come together and talk about personal stuff because the three of us we're the three best friends that anyone could have. I don't know, just don't ever let us go to Vegas together.
Amigos.
It makes me so happy. We sang on our first episode and we're singing on our 100th.
Yes. We were supposed to go to Vegas, the three of us together.
Yeah, what happened to that?
Were we?
Canceled.
Why were we? Oh, that for the
conference.
national conference. Yeah. Okay.
And we really could have been the three best friends doing that. Anyways, going back to what this room is. So it is our war zone. It is where we kind of...
Not our war zone, our war room.
War room.
Although sometimes it does feel like a war zone.
Sometimes it does become a war zone.
Yeah.
It's a therapy room, actually.
Therapy, yeah. We're dealing with personal stuff. We deal with maybe some office stuff because it's a rare time the three of us can all be together. But yeah, there's a lot of funny stuff that happens behind the scenes. And I want to have a TikTok. I know we can't really have TikToks, but we can throw
we know
some videos.
Compliance. We're not allowed to.
I know. But we can put some videos on our Instagram, right?
Nope.
Okay.
Well, yeah, we can't use stories, but sure, we can put a video.
We can post it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I hope that maybe you will go to your favorite margarita place. I was trying to say your favorite Mexican place. Clearly, I'm just thinking about margaritas.
You got margaritas on the brain. Katie.
It's Cinco de Mayo. You got to have your fiesta gear on. You got to have some queso. You got to have a margarita. Yeah. Gotta have fun.
And in honor of Cinco de Mayo, we have a bunch of lists today as we go down memory lane, and they're all lists of 5 things.
Yes.
Cinco, 5.
Cinco, 5.
These are a few of my favorite things. I just figure let's start singing again.
Okay. You just sing away, KT.
So, 5 memorable moments.
5 memorable moments, and go.
I feel like we've had a lot of them. One would definitely be, I know we talked about before in this, we were going to say the luau, but I really think, the luau was awesome recording right in the middle of Hawaii, just pulling our phone out and hitting the little audio record thing. But I want to go back to when we recorded in that very dark room in Hot Springs, and we were in just pretty much almost like a basement. There are no windows, the door is shut, and it was pitch black because the light made a humming noise. So we're sitting here by like candlelight almost, coming to you talking. what episode was that? About commodities, wasn't it?
It was the first summer we were recording. So it was back. It was literally when we thought there was absolutely no way that we could go a week without recording.
Yeah,
We
it was
just could
hard
not.
assets. And we talked about the heist movies, metal and gold commodities.
Yeah, and we were just bound and determined that if the world would end if we didn't record at least once per week. So you were out of town, we had to travel to where you were to
Yeah, y'all.
And
I know my whole family's like, what are you doing? We have to record the episode.
Yeah, or we will die. Yeah, recording in that basement, that dark basement, was like the Blair Witch Project. We had a rinky-dink little card table set up, our studio equipment, and pitch black.
Yeah. Another kind of general memorable moments is early on, we redid so many episodes. There were some that we would have to go back and we'd have to match. I mean, when we redo it, if we don't do the whole thing, we have to match our voices. And that's kind of hard some days because it's like, I'm not that same person that recorded that 2 days ago.
Yeah,
like
no
my
question
voice
about
is
that.
not the same right now. Or heaven forbid if any of us had like a cold. That was really hard to figure out.
I'm getting PTSD from a certain episode we recorded over and over again. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, yeah.
That vacation one.
Vacation.
I think and I still to this day it puzzles me as to why that was such low listenership. But nobody wanted to listen to that episode.
It was destined to fail from the
It
get-go.
really was
Not good. So
Amazing.
go listen to Vacations right now, please. Okay, another one would be, kind of hinted at it when I said it was the war zone. The sass is strong with all three of us. And, Cort and I frequently will throw shade at each other, and you may be able to tell through the episode if one of us is mad at the other one because we just pick fun. Or the best is like Cam's having a bad day a while back, and we kept throwing things to him. Like I had pictured this episode, and I was like, Cam's going to talk so much in this episode. And every time we threw something at him, he's like, yeah.
I agree.
And afterwards,
I was
he was
not
like,
having it.
hey, he didn't say before the episode, "Hey guys, don't pitch to me. I'm not
No.
going to hit it." He was just like, "Yeah, okay, let's record." And then at the end, he was like, "Yeah, sorry, I didn't feel like talking."
And in the early days, we would have just been like, oh, we'll just re-record that when Cam's in a better mood. But now it's like, you better sit down. This is the time we have. We got to get it together. Go.
Yeah.
And what, 3 episodes ago, Cort threw shade at Katie or something, and it was hysterical. For me, it was. I don't think it was that funny for Katie, but I was
No,
laughing.
she still glares at me anytime I make reference to it.
Yeah, okay, one specific memorable moment. I don't even remember what episode it was, but the way that we're seated, and I know if you go back to our birthday episode, we talk about we're sitting at a table and Cort and I are across from each other. Now that Cam talks, and I kind of have to like tilt back and forth to look at both of them, but I will be talking and like explaining something serious, and then Cort will do this whole like, yeah, he just did it.
It's like a groundhog thing. He's
He will
behind
like
his
tuck
mic
behind,
filter.
Yeah, tuck behind the mic filter and then just like creepily pop up. And it's so hard to keep a straight face and not laugh at it. It's so hard.
I
But
usually do
it's
that
funny.
when I'm trying to get you to be happier because you're sad and I want to cheer you up.
And then the last kind of memorable moment, well, I mean, we're going to talk about some other ones that are coming up in these other lists, but I would think it would be just the random costumes that I've been wearing when we've recorded, because it's been like we stop what we're doing and it's scheduled. So like I was dressed up as Ursula one day, and I think Winifred, and all kinds of crazy stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. And I don't recall ever having a problem where I came in dressed up for an episode.
Me neither. We forced Katie to dress up.
I just, it's some people like to dress up and some people don't. And I fall firmly in the latter.
Katie, thank you for your list.
Yeah.
Cort's got a list.
I do. I have a list. My list is the top 5 things, the top 5 pop cultural references, or really more the top 5 pop culture items that we reference
Multiple
times.
Yeah, multiple times. The things that we talk about the most. The top 5 things we talk about the most. Okay, so number 1, The Father of the Bride. The number of times that we have mentioned Father of the Bride, and really, it's not even like it's my favorite movie or anything, but it comes into our conversations often.
It's one of my favorites. But yeah, there's a lot of financial in there, talking about planning for a wedding, or you can talk about the unexpected of the babies in Father of the Bride Part 2, the whole fiasco of him going to the grocery store and the hot dogs to bun ratio. There's a lot of good financial information in that movie.
Okay. I see that argument. I'll take it and go like, yeah, okay, you're right. We should probably bring that one up a lot. Okay, but number 2, why do we mention Mean Girls so much?
More specifically, in the Guy Only episode when Katie was gone that one time, we mentioned Mean Girls.
We bring it up so frequently, so very frequently, and it just doesn't,
Is that some kind of reference that I wasn't there, so you were needing to channel a mean girl?
I don't even remember. I think it was something random, like on Wednesdays we wear pink or something. It was the reference was just out there.
Let's be honest, that's a fantastic movie. It's hysterical.
It's
I'm not saying I dislike the movie. I'm just saying it doesn't make sense that we bring it up as much as we do. Number 3, I'm gonna take us back to the beginning again, because this is supposed to be a walk down memory lane. We used to talk about, probably more than anything else, Baby Yoda. We had Baby Yodas everywhere in our studio. We talked about Baby Yoda on the regular. We were all about some Mandalorian early on, and haven't mentioned it in a while. I think it's because Mandalorian hasn't been on the air in a while, but yeah, man, we used to talk about that a lot.
I don't even think we really mentioned Baby Yoda in our last week's episode when we talked about Star Wars.
I think you mentioned it once in passing. Yeah, but we have all of our Baby Yodas behind me on the shelf. Yeah. Are there 6 of them?
There are 6.
Yeah,
there are indeed 6. Yeah, we still have the Baby Yodas. They just don't hit our conversation. They'll move with us when we go to our new studio for sure.
Of course, we can't leave them.
Obviously, we'll leave Scrooge McDuck over here, but the Baby Yodas are going with us. So number 4. Okay, number 4 is Friends. Just by virtue of the whole pivot. The fact that we have said that in innumerable episodes is
we were on a break.
By itself, the Friends references have been many and plentiful. And then finally, just throw in one for Cam. And hopefully this time he'll take it and run with it, because that other episode where he was Mr. Silent, he didn't take it and run with it. I threw on that episode we were talking about earlier where you were being really, really quiet because you just weren't into it. I threw you at least 2 Lord of the Rings references, and you just were like, yeah, Lord of the Rings, good movie. Okay, thanks.
What a shame. That's a fantastic movie, but I feel like the Lord of the Rings references are on par with Harry Potter, right?
Yeah, we do a lot of Harry Potter.
Okay, well, that was my number 5, but honorable mentions, sure, Harry Potter. We also, early on, we made a lot of Broadway references.
Lots of Gilmore Girls and
lots
Buffy.
Of Gilmore Girls and Buffy, too.
We talk about the Money Pit a ton.
We do, but that's another one that actually makes sense in the context of what we talk about on a pretty regular basis.
I think we need to start switching from Father of the Bride. Our new Steve Martin movie needs to be The Jerk.
The Jerk.
That has some good financial topics in there.
Or Cheaper by the Dozen. A lot of financial considerations in Cheaper by the Dozen.
We have
Jerk,
mentioned...
he goes from poor to rich to poor.
Yes.
We've mentioned Planes, Trains, and Automobiles a few times.
That's a ton.
We love Steve Martin.
Steve Martin is just, he makes
I think we've asked him to be on the podcast several times.
We have. And honestly, I reached out to him the other day because I figured, 100th episode, a lot of TV shows and variety shows and podcasts will have a big name in as a guest for their 100th episode or their 1000th episode or whatever. And so really wanted to make a big deal out of it, but Steve's busy.
What's your list, Cam?
I get an interesting list.
Yes.
Mine is the most popular episodes we've done, the top downloaded.
And this one is actually, this list intrigues me.
Yeah, and it's not what you think it would be.
Yeah.
Our audience always surprises me, what they prefer to listen to. But
definitely not budgets.
Not budgets. Budgets is not on this list. Number 1 is our Halloween episode, our recent one, episode 73.
Oh, there's my spirit people are out there. They love it.
People like
yay.
Booyah, it's Halloween.
They did like
Booyah, it's Halloween, y'all, or whatever. Was that the title of it?
Yeah, and I'm curious why they gravitated towards that one.
Sometimes I wonder if when people are going into the different engines that push podcasts, if they just search for a word that happens to be a keyword in our title, and so it pops up, and they're like, give this a listen.
You're trying to do that. No, people just like Halloween, okay?
I'm going to chalk it up to my awesome descriptions I write every week for the episode.
Yes, yeah. I mean, you're teasing them in because it's either, we're trying to get you either with the title, with the little, blurb about what the episodes are, the hashtags, or the GIF, whatever it's called.
The GIF.
GIF. Did we even say anything financial in that episode? I don't remember.
I think we talked about the financial impact of like buying all that candy, and if you buy it too early,
You'll
then
eat it all.
You'll eat it all, and
Fantastic.
Or if you buy too much, then you'll eat it all, and then it makes you have to go on a diet or you buy new clothes. Yeah.
Get a gym membership. Halloween is very expensive.
Yes.
And buying the costumes. I mean, come on.
Number two. Episode 23, Identity Theft.
Oh.
That's an interesting one. And that was I think when we did that episode, it was a big topic at the time. Like a lot of people were interested in identity theft around that time.
Yeah. I wonder, did we talk about the Melissa McCarthy movie in that one? Surely we had to have.
I mean, we might have. We do consider ourselves a pop culture infused financial podcast.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I would be ashamed of us if we didn't at least mention Identity Thief.
I don't know. Did we talk about Catch Me If You Can? Because that's like the ultimate identity.
I think we 100% did.
Okay. It's been so long. I've got to go back and listen.
Yeah. And it doesn't surprise me that episode was listened to because identity theft, everybody wants to know about that.
So what I'm gathering, people care about Halloween and their identity not getting stolen. Although on Halloween, you steal somebody else's identity because you dress up. Okay, sorry.
Number 3 would be episode 89, Mining for Crypto, with our guest, Andy.
Yeah.
That doesn't surprise me. Thanks, Andy.
Yeah, and David said that he actually wanted to do a follow-up to that episode.
Yeah, I want to join y'all because y'all did that without me.
Yeah,
and
we did.
So I think it'd be fun, maybe kind of do a little debate about crypto and kind of...
Like the pluses and minuses.
Yeah.
To have somebody on one side like be pro-crypto and somebody on the other side be sort of calm.
Yeah, let's do that. It'd be fun.
Number 4 would be episode 007, Bonds. That was early on.
Uh-huh. And that's when we learned I don't know how to say Pierce's last name.
Pierce Brosnan.
It's like every time I see him on the TV, I mean, which is not a lot. It's not like he's just always on my TV. I have PTSD about that. It's bad.
I went all out on that episode with sound effects. Tire squealing, guns, cool music.
That was fun. We need to do another, diving deeper into bonds because that's such a big topic. We just barely.
I feel like
the
we just
surface.
need to give Cameron is at his happiest when he's got an episode that he can put a lot of sound effects into. So we just need to give him some conversations that he can actually load up with some sound effects, I think.
Yes.
And rounding out the list, which is similar to Bonds, would be episode 6, one earlier, Stocks.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, let's talk
So
about,
it makes, I mean,
let's talk about stocks, baby.
Yeah, I'm glad that at least a couple of the episodes were straight up just like financial topics, how we initially conceived this podcast, because we always conceived it as finances made simple. Oh, I guess should we close out your list and then move on with the conversation? I don't know.
I'm done. Let's close it out.
Okay. Okay, so what I was saying is, what we initially perceived this podcast as was a financial sort of education podcast. Finances made simple. But if we were going to be doing a difficult or dense topic, we wanted to make sure that there was some lightheartedness in the episode as well, and that would keep people engaged. And so that's why we decided we would be pop culture infused.
Guess it's been 2 Christmases ago that we made this shirt that had all the hashtags on the back of it. And I mean, it was just for us guys. Sorry, y'all aren't missing out on merchandise that you could buy. This was just an internal thing.
Yeah, we can't sell merch, unfortunately.
And that was so early on, and the back of that shirt was full of hashtags. Imagine if we did one now. We could take out a billboard with our hashtags.
We could.
What if we had the hashtags that all were little bitty and they actually did the logo?
Oh, that'd be pretty sweet.
Work on that, Cam.
Yeah.
Okay, I will call myself out on this 100th episode. I don't think I've done this in any episode, but as we were looking back and looking at the guests we've had, because I think we ended up we had Andy, and we had Nancy, and Cassie. Lee. Yep, we had Lee.
Cort's brother.
And
my brother.
Byron, yeah. Oh, Joe, sorry. Yeah, we had
6 guests.
6 guests.
Out of 100 episodes, we've had 6 episodes that actually had guests. And we really wanted to have a lot of guests, but I guess finding guests has been...
Finding guests and working with schedules and stuff has kind of been difficult. But by the time we do our 200th episode, hopefully we'll have more. I do have to call myself out though. If you listen to the podcast at all, I like my shoes. I like clothes. I like to kind of dress in themes and stuff. And so I do have basic dresses that are kind of on rotation that I'll wear, every so often. And they're just, everybody has those clothes that are in their rotation. But I realized looking at the pictures, which we need to get back to putting more pictures on our Instagram.
I need to lose 60 pounds, but man, I'm on it.
Cam's an editing wizard. Maybe he can edit and make us look better.
Can you make me look thin, Cam?
Can you shave some pounds off of us?
Photoshop that picture.
Yeah.
I can do it.
Yes, sir. That's what I'm talking about.
Looking back at the photos, I realized that for 2 of the guests, I wore the exact same dress. And now this is a dress that I think I literally have worn twice to the office, ever. And I pick the 2 days that we have a guest to wear this dress. And I don't think I realized it at all. And I haven't worn it since. So maybe the random day that I decide to wear it again, then y'all are going to call me and be like, Katie, we have a guest. And I'll be like, dang it. I need to change clothes.
Shifting gears here and looking at our list of the top downloaded, there's such a variety. And it makes me excited about the future, the next 100 episodes, what that will look like. I'm excited to do this for our clients, our listeners.
I love doing this. I think it's been a great growing experience for the 3 of us. And I think it's a good conversation starter. I don't like to, in social groups, be like, oh yeah, I have a podcast. I don't name drop it as much as I probably should. And I know that I've been bad about personally pushing it out there. But it's been great to know that situation comes up and I can be like, oh, we've got an episode about that. And then just to each of us taking our own lives and trying to come up with episodes to do. It's been fun. And yeah, I'm excited for the next 100. What about you, Cort? You excited? You excited over there? Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm super excited. Yeah, can't you tell? This is my excited voice. My wife is constantly fussing at me that you could tell me I won the lottery or tell me my cat was dead and I would react the exact same way. So I apologize if I do not sound super excited, but I am super, super excited.
So is there an on and off switch to you whenever we click record? Are you just kind of neutral? Are you flipped on right now?
I mean, I'm a little bit more animated on a microphone than I would be in my normal life. I have a switch, and I can definitely turn it on, but usually that's more like when I'm on a stage in front of a crowd of people or something. That takes some energy.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely think I have a switch to turn it on because it's one of those, we care about you guys and the listeners. And so we don't want to bring whatever we're dealing with. If we've got, anything going on personal or if we were dealing with an issue at work, we want to bring to you guys our best selves and make sure that we're delivering great information to you. So yeah, I definitely think there's a turn it on switch. And now there may be some sass thrown in there. I'm pretty sure I've thrown some shade about my husband several times. And thankfully, he doesn't really listen to this, so he has yet to call me out on it. And any of you that are listening, don't you dare tell him. What about you, Cam?
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of a neutral person, but there's definitely an on switch. We have our tough days, but you got to be able to smile through it.
We do it for you because we love you guys. You are the reason we do this. At the end of the day, we made a commitment 100 episodes ago when we launched BullCast that the reason for doing this is we wanted to produce episodes that talked about specific topics that people are interested in, break away that jargon, and really have knowledge of, whatever your topic is. If you're buying a car, if you're worried about your credit score, if you credit cards, student loans, housing, whatever it needs to be, that you've got this database, this library of information you can go to. But we also wanted it to be fun. And so that's where, despite all of this trouble, we're going to keep going. I mean, I want us to get to 200. I want us to go past that. I think there is
1 million.
1 million episodes.
1 million episodes. That's a lot, guys.
We'd be dead.
But it's, I'm sitting there looking over this list of the 100 different topics we've done, and there's so much more out there. There's so many topics that we haven't even touched yet. And it's because, right now we're having a timing issue. We don't want to produce episodes on some of these beefier topics that we know our job is to make sure we've done all the research so we can produce a very simple episode over a complex topic.
You want it to be thorough, so you've got to put all of this information in, but you also want to be simple, so you've got to take all of these words and complicated concepts back out. And, it's a very difficult balancing act. And that's when, when we talk about David reviewing our episodes, when it really helps to have that fourth eye, so to speak, is having somebody else that can listen to it and tell us, okay, you've gone way overboard into the details, into the weeds on this topic. You need to simplify, or you haven't said this in a clear way, or you were wrong. You said this wrong. Surely this is not what you meant. It helps to have somebody listen to you on those kinds of episodes and make sure that you're not putting out either something that people just aren't going to be able to understand or relate to or whatever, but also to make sure that we're clear on everything. Because we don't sit down with a script. We are, for the most part, talking off the cuff. And so you're gonna end up saying things wrong. Whether no matter how well you know the information, every now and then you're gonna get tongue-tied and something's gonna come out that just doesn't sound right.
Yeah.
So it's good to have that sort of clear mind that can listen to it from a fresh perspective.
I want to double down on Katie's comment. We have fun. We like this show. We love this show.
Yeah.
We wouldn't do it if we didn't like it. But this is real talk. I'm just being real with you guys. Like it is challenging to make one episode per week.
Yeah, if you're trying to do it, it's hard, but we hope we're making a difference. And I know that we've heard over the past, couple years that we've been doing this, different episodes that have spoken to different people, and kind of we had in our mind our target audience, and it's kind of ended up being very different.
Well, like for instance, okay, one of the episodes that I've wanted to do for probably a year now. Actually, I think right at a year now, because it was mentioned to me as a possible topic at a party about a year ago, is sort of the tax advantages of all the different retirement plans that are possible out there. And, tax advantages to small business owners, tax advantages to large companies, that kind of thing. But taxes, anytime you involve taxes, it's going to be a complicated episode. And if you're involving the tax aspects of retirement plans, there's going to be a lot of work that goes into that episode. There's going to be a lot of research on the front end. We're going to make sure that we have a very, very solid outline. Cameron's going to spend a lot of time editing. David's going to spend a lot of time listening and critiquing and making sure that everything is right. And then ultimately, with a topic like that, it could be really, really dense if we didn't throw in some fun stuff too. Yeah. So, all of these moving parts that we're trying to put together, it's fun. It's a topic you want to cover. You want to, this is information that you want to get out there. You want to respond to, especially because when we get a request for a topic, we want to make sure that we respond to those requests.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you want to get it out there, but it is hard. But sort of putting together all those little moving pieces is what actually makes it fun. That, the puzzle part of it and making sure that you have all the elements that are going to make it a successful episode are what can make it worth coming back and doing again.
I mean, since you mentioned that one, there's a couple that just to kind of tease it out there, I know that I want to do an episode on what is a credit union, because that's something that a lot of people, unless you are a part of one, you have no idea what it is, who can have it, what the benefits are. I want to talk about the retirement rollovers. I know we've talked before about, that's your money, don't leave it, but we haven't specifically talked about the process of what to do and what you can do. We haven't talked about pensions in depth, the people that do have those. And I know those are few and far between, but some people do have those. Just the basics of capital gains versus capital losses. Very simple, and why you need to know that. Diving deeper into, yes, taxes, because it is something that a lot of people are worried about. When to break up with, TurboTax and get your own accountant. Talking about, you hear these phrases like blue chip companies. What the heck is that? I want to do an episode on that. And again, a lot of our episode topics come from our experiences. So thank you, but also I'm sorry to some of our friends, our family, and our clients, because if they listen to these episodes, then some of them have been the reason behind a lot of these. I just had a great conversation with a client a couple of days ago. I want to do an episode explaining to anybody, when you onboard in a company, understanding what they're offering you and what you should accept and shouldn't, because somebody denied an HSA account, the health savings account, because she didn't understand what it was. And so she didn't know, hey, you can call us and talk to us about that. Mm-hmm. Now she does. But so there's a lot of fun topics. we are not done yet, you know.
For all our lovely listeners out there, first of all, like, we wouldn't have the show if it wasn't for you. We wouldn't keep producing it if we didn't have listeners.
Can't do without our fans.
We can't do it without you. You complete me. Don't be shy about submitting topic requests. We love getting them in, and we're dedicated to doing an episode on it, whatever you submit. So send them our way.
Or if you've got a fun story of like an episode that's made a difference. I mean, I know I was tempted. I saw somebody post the other day about their kid just lost their first tooth. What's the tooth fairy's going rate? And it's like, oh, we have an episode on that because it's just fun conversation starters. And, you know,
instead of there's an app for that, there's an app for that.
There's an app for that.
I like that.
And it's I hope that, you know, we do another debate, kind of like that fictitious presidential debate. I think we can find something to debate about because clearly we like to healthy banter and argue with each other. And I mean, I know that I need to sometimes go back and listen to the Loaning Family and Friends Money comic because I need to practice what I preach some days.
Let's face it. I got in on this thing on the ground floor because I like talking about pop culture, and I always want to throw in more pop culture.
Yeah, the other week I was playing disc golf with my brother-in-law, and he was talking about OPM, and I was like, dude, we did an episode on that. You should listen to it. Other people's money.
Yeah, it's so important and how it all intertwines, and so we want to keep going with this. But let's give you something out of this episode besides that we've turned 100.
Well, what is your takeaway for today's episode? Your takeaway, we got to give you. We thought we would go back and sort of recap. Okay, what are the top 5 plans that everybody should have? Mm-hmm. What are the top 5 plans that everybody should have? And obviously, the first plan that everyone should have is the one that we went over the first thing when we started this episode, and that is a budget. Everybody should have a budget.
And I mean, I will say right now, so number 1, you need a budget. I know it's an ugly word, but just, you know, call it something else. Although I did have a client come in the other day and they said they have family meetings to discuss finances and they call it their budget committee meeting. So, I mean, whatever works for you. I told my husband that if he put on the calendar we were having a budget committee meeting, I would not attend. You know, I don't want to have a budget meeting with my husband. So he can call it like we're shoe shopping or, you know, I don't know. Clearly I'm joking. I understand the importance of budgets, and so I'm not that vain. But anyways, okay. Number 2 would be an emergency plan. Mm-hmm. So that could be your emergency fund. That could be just making sure you've got your adequate level that if life kicks you in the tail, what are you going to do? Are you fully prepared? Have you thought about those worst case scenarios?
Mm-hmm. I have a good idea on what the third plan is in the list.
What?
Financial plan.
Woo.
Yes.
So important. And my goal the past about 3 months now, I have been working with a lot of younger clients and I'm trying to debunk the financial plan because so many people think that financial plans are just for well-established or people close to retirement. I'm like, no, we can customize it. You want to be able to afford to buy a boat in 5 years or a house in a couple years or whatever it may be. Let's do a financial plan. It can look at the now. It can look in the distant future. Heck, it can even plan on building in, I want to be able to pass away, fully fund my life, but also leave X amount towards my kids. It can be whatever you want it to be. And we can put sparkle and glitter and make it fun so it's not dull.
Yeah, the financial planning process me and my wife went through was invaluable. It was amazing.
It's not a one and done. I know we're going to talk about it in a second, but yeah. Go with number 4, Cort.
Okay, well, number 4 is obviously near and dear to my heart. Everybody should have an estate plan.
The law.
I mean, listen, I don't want to be a scratched record, but, you know, everybody should have an estate plan. Everybody should have an estate plan that actually plans for what they want. Because whether you think you have an estate plan or not, you do. It's just a question of whether you're in control of it or the state that you live in is in control of it. So everybody should put something on paper, talk to a lawyer, get an estate plan done. It doesn't have to be very complicated and it doesn't have to be very expensive, but do it. It'll give you some peace of mind.
Well, and unfortunately, I do have to add a kind of scary moment to it. Don't wait. If you're in the middle of updating your plan or doing your plan, don't keep putting it off. It's so easy to go, oh, I'll update it later. Or, oh, I'll sign those documents later. But unfortunately, we've had some situations where clients have passed away or become incapacitated where they could no longer sign their name, and they kept putting off things despite, we can push and push and push as much as we can, but at the end of the day, we can't make you sign something. And so your attorneys, whoever you're working with is going to take care of you and do what they can, but at the end of the day, you have to take ownership for it.
Here's an interesting way to sort of describe that. 2 different clients. One client, we got an estate plan done for them, and before they could sign it, they passed away. Another client, we got an estate plan for them. They came in and signed it, but passed away before we ever delivered the estate plan to them. Which client was taken care of? Obviously, the ones that came in and signed it. Now, it didn't matter that they hadn't actually received their documents in the mail from us yet. The fact that they were done, signed, dated, witnessed, that made them legally binding documents. And so it didn't matter that if they had walked out of our office on the day that they signed and didn't have anything in their hands but a business card, as long as they had those documents signed and witnessed and notarized, then they were valid. And if something had happened to them in a car wreck on the way home, they're taken care of. But we can spend years working with somebody to come up with the perfect plan, get it all done, get it all edited, spend time on the phone going over the littlest detail to make sure that everything is perfect. And that time is wasted if you don't actually come in and sign your documents. They do you no good. So,
You have been warned. Okay, and the last one that kind of wraps everything up is your life plan. And what I mean by that is that's your dreams, your goals, whatever it is that you're really wanting out of your life. And so with these 5, budget, emergency plan, financial plan, estate plan, life plan, these are all things that are not, you do it once and you never do it again. It is constantly evolving and changing. As those goals and dreams change, your emergency plan is going to change. Your estate plan is going to change. Your financial plan is going to change. Your budget's going to change. And so that's where it's kind of just like picture a great little circle and how it's just a constant flow of updating those different things. And that if you do that, that is like your key that you're going to be okay. You take care of all those things. Don't make it difficult. Just kind of make it where there is a plan. At the end of the day, there is some kind of plan. When you go on a vacation, you usually make a general plan. Whether you're someone like me and David who like to plan out every moment of it, or if you're someone who knows your plan is to not plan. You know where you're going and you're sitting your butt on the beach or whatever you're doing. That's still a plan.
100, baby. I'm in the second group. We actually are talking about taking a family vacation this summer for the first time in God knows how long.
Wow.
It's been forever and ever. Yeah. And I'm like, look, if y'all want to go to the beach, you can go to the beach. I'm not a beach person, so I'll probably spend a lot of time up in the condo, but if that's what y'all want to do it. That is about the extent of my plan for that vacation is, I'm going to be sitting somewhere that's not in direct sunlight with a beer, and there's my plan.
I'm in that camp, Cort. I need the type A's in my life to kind of dictate how things go. I'm just go with the flow. I just want to chill. Y'all tell me where we're eating, where we're going, and I'm happy.
Yeah. Well, and that's, Cam, you saying that is also a crucial thing. And I have these great clients I'm working with, and I've kind of almost joked, I almost feel like a marriage counselor to them, but I recognize it enough. Part of your plan is also identifying who your players are. And by that, I mean identifying your professional team, but also knowing the roles that your family or those involved play. If you know you're the type A person, then let that person handle that stuff. If you're more of the laid back, be that. But in every relationship, we have couples come in and go, oh, I don't know anything about the finances. She handles that or he handles that. And I said, as long as one of you does, that's all that matters. As long as you know that someone's taking care of it, it's fine. And it's like, I very much am the let's plan. Let's do the long term. Let's figure it all out. And Daniel is what's happening today. He is in the day. But it's a yin and yang. You got to have that balance.
That's right.
Cort?
I don't know. I agree with everything that you said, but I also respectfully want to be left alone. You know what I mean? Like I get where everybody is coming from, and I agree that you've got to have both types of people, and it works great if one person is just like, show me where to go, and it works great if someone else is like, I would like to be in charge.
Are you pleading the fifth? Like, what is this?
No, I'm just saying I'll be in the condo with a beer. That is the extent of my plan. If you will feel better by having every detail of your day planned out, great. But just don't expect me to participate. I will be in the condo with the beer.
It's a vacation for a reason.
Until I guilt him into how he's going to mess up my overall plan with his lack of plan, because that happened, ladies and gentlemen. Cort was just going to like bow out and not be a part of stuff. And I'm like, well, that's what you want to do. But do you understand that it messes up X, Y, and Z? And so it'll cause us then to be delayed because then we'd have to come back and pick you up. And
Katie's like, put your heels on, Cort. We're going to the Liberty Bell.
Let's go. But I mean, okay, let's wrap it back up to Cinco de Mayo. It's a fun holiday. Everybody has fun with it.
Yeah, what is your plan for Cinco de Mayo?
I mean, well, be festive.
Cinco de Mayo, Mexican Independence Day, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. So, obviously none of us are Mexican. It has become somewhat of a holiday that we Americans like to celebrate, I think probably because it mostly involves things that Americans like drinking.
Margaritas and cheese dip.
Yeah. And it's a shame that all Mexican restaurants are open on their Independence Day.
That does stink, but they're booming.
They're booming, and I will be getting Mexican food from Las Delicias.
Yeah, and that's what everybody has their favorite go-to Mexican place. Like, I spend way too much money on Mexican food, but it's my comfort food.
Yeah, I do love Mexican food. But really, Las Delicias, very much traditional Mexican cuisine. It is straight up right out of Mexico. The way they
you don't
do
get your
tacos,
platter with the beans and rice on the side.
Right,
that is
exactly.
Not this place.
Nope.
And then there are places like I'll go anywhere where I can get a plate the size of Texas covered with chips and cheese and chicken on it. Basically, yes. I want my nachos. And then margaritas are delicious as well. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. By the end of the day, we're going to get you into a sombrero. It's going to happen.
It absolutely will not happen. 100%. Never.
Well, guys, this has been a fun ride. I'm excited we've made it to 100. Like we said, there were some times that it would have been so easy for us to be like, it's been a hell of a week. Let's just not record. And even, we've had people say, let's just do a best of episode or let's just skip. And I feel like it was a slippery slope. We didn't want to let our listeners down. We didn't want to let ourselves down because we set a goal. We wanted to do this. We wanted to release something once a week. And I think all three of us at different times, thankfully, they've mostly been all at different times, not at the same time, we've been wanting to give up and we've all rallied behind it. And so that shows us as a team supporting each other and how important that you're not going through life I'm getting real deep here. You're not going through life by yourself as much as you think you may be. You've got a strong support system, whether it's, financial, mental, you've got people that are going to pull you up and help you out.
Now, see, over the course of that, I don't want to make light of anything that you just said, but over the course of that, I thought of at least 4 songs that I could have injected into that, just based on things that she said,
And early on, you would have just interrupted me and sang.
Yeah. So I've grown, I guess.
You're not alone, listeners. You've got BullCast.
We've
got you, baby.
Oh, hey, ladies and gentlemen, look at that. That was the closing bell. You've made it to the end of not just any other episode of the BullCast podcast, but the 100th episode of the BullCast podcast. If you like what you heard and you'd like to hear more, please feel free to go to your favorite subscription service and sign up. Sign up to have our podcast beamed directly to your preferred listening device every single Thursday at noon. If you'd like to find out more about me, about Katie, about Cameron, you can go to our website. That's bullcastpodcast.com. Feel free to leave a comment. Feel free to suggest a topic for an episode. Read our bios and then go on about your business. Also, if you like pictures, we've got the pictures. Actually, guys, we need to take some fresh pictures.
We need to update. We had those professional photos that Cam took.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We did that 100 episodes ago.
Yeah, we need to get some new pictures out there, but I need to lose about 60 pounds first. So anyway, we do have pictures on Instagram.
We'll get our glam squad here so we can get ready for that.
Instagram handle is @BullCastPodcast. We have words on the Twitter, the Elon Musk Twitter, whatever they're going to call it now. That is at BullCast Podcast as well. And then finally, if you'd like to find out more about what we actually do, where we work, our amazing team, and our boss, David Pickler, head on over to our website. That is picklerwealthadvisors.com.
That's advisors with an O.
Not an E.
Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you have enjoyed this road that we have traveled, and I hope you will come back for more in the future. But for today, we're done. So for now, I'm Cort.
I'm Katie.
I'm Cam.
And we out.